love, Steven. Like, out of my mind in love. What was I supposed to do?
But she's super thick. I'm just thinking with my dick. My shit done. I'm just thinking with my dick. My shit done.
We were running out through the storm, through the night. We were running in the dark. We were following our hearts, and we would fall down, and we would slowly fall apart. We would slowly.
I'm just kidding. Anywhere else I'd be taken. Is it my
So for anybody who didn't see the video that I posted at 2 o'clock this morning, I think I almost shifted last night. It still feels so weird to say that. And upon conversation with multiple people and self-reflection last night and then this morning, I think I actually mini shifted. I think. I'm not sure. But I would like the opinion of the people watching this video, because imposter syndrome is kicking my butt. So I would love if you guys could listen to the experience of what happened to me last night. And then when I'm done explaining it, could you tell me if you think that was just a very close encounter with shifting, or was that like a mini shift? Also, because we don't gatekeep in this house, I was using Alunir's Void State 2.0 method on the Musi app. That way that there was no YouTube commercials. So I'm doing the Void State method, and I have ADHD, so my mind is wandering a lot, and I'm getting frustrated with myself because I can't focus. But at one point, I start to notice that my entire body feels kind of tingly, kind of like when your foot falls asleep. And I was like, okay, this is not a big deal. This happens to me a lot, kind of like with the floaty feeling, because I know that a lot of symptoms are just your body falling asleep. So that could be what this is. I'm just going to try to focus on the meditation as best I can, and I'm going to focus. It's going to be fine. Eventually, I hear a sound that kind of sounds like a door opening and closing. But my door, because my house is old, makes a very specific sound, and it didn't sound like that. And then after a second of like me listening to see if like maybe one of my family members has come in my room, I feel the bed shaking, but like in a specific way, almost like someone is banging really hard on my footboard trying to wake me up, and it's like shaking my whole being. And it started scaring the crap out of me to the point that my heart is hammering so hard I thought I was like having a heart attack. Like I'm like, this is a medical emergency. And I thought someone was in my room, but then in my head I'm like, no. If someone was trying to wake me up, they're not just gonna hit my bed. Everyone knows I'm a deep sleeper. If they think I'm asleep right now, they're gonna like touch my leg or something. No one's touching me, so no one's in my room. Eventually, after like the banging and shaking stops and I'm starting to calm down, I see flashes of white light from multiple directions. And I can only describe the flashing as like camera flashing. But there's no reason I should be seeing any flashing because I have an eye mask on. And I couldn't see anything when I laid down, so there's no reason I should be seeing light now, even if there was light in the room. After this, while I'm trying to focus and calm down, I start getting the feeling of falling and floating, and then the banging and shaking starts up again. And during this period of time, I'm noticing that I can't really feel my body as well. And after the shaking stops, the way I was laying, my head was at the corner of the bed, and my legs were like near the edge of the bed, but not off the bed. And I noticed that after the banging stopped, I felt a pressure against the side of my mattress, almost like a person was leaning against my mattress while standing. But I've scripted that no one's in my room when I wake up, so I don't know what that was. And I've scripted that my eyes will automatically open, so it was like if they're not automatically opening and I'm just questioning it, I'm not opening my peepers. So then after that, I noticed that the room itself kind of starts feeling different, but not anything that I'm like laying on, because I can't really feel anything physically on the bed. I never knew what people meant when they said they felt their surroundings change, but now I do. Because you know that feeling, like if you've ever moved house and the difference between the last night in a familiar house versus the first night in your new house, or like the feeling of like sleeping in your own room versus like spending the night at a friend's house, or like being at your house versus being in a hotel. And it's not that you necessarily feel like you're in danger, but you know you are in an unfamiliar space and it's new and it's weird. The energy started to feel like I was going from like the comfort and familiarity of my bedroom to a different space. And I also don't know how to explain it, but it slowly started to feel like I was in a larger space. Like, I don't know how to explain that one very well, but my room in the DR I was trying to go to is much larger than my room here because this house is very small. And I don't know, I just like, I suddenly felt like I was in a room that had a larger volume, if that makes sense. And after I had kind of registered that that was going on, the flashing started happening again, but it was only happening to the left. Well, in this room, there's nothing to the left. It's literally my wall. And these lights, I couldn't see these lights. They were also low and on red. So seeing flashing like bright white light from my left didn't make any sense. And again, I still had an eye mask on. And then I was trying to think, I was like, what could possibly be flashing? Like, even if I'm in my DR, what could be flashing? And then I remembered that the way I've set up my bedroom in my DR, to the left of my bed is a door to the balcony. There's a door to outside right there. So if I'm seeing flashing, maybe it's like a curtain moving because the AC is kicked on, or like something like there's a light source over there. And I was freaking out and I was like, oh my God, what's happening? Like, I don't understand anything. And for the last time, the shaking and banging on the bed happened. But at this point I was like, I've got to fucking ignore it. I've got to ignore it. Like, this is not happening to me right now. Like, I am in my DR. Fuck this shit. No one's shaking anything. And so I'm trying to affirm that I'm already there, that everything's fine, and that I'm safe. And when that stopped for the last time, and the lights weren't happening anymore, I'm still feeling floaty and weird, and like I'm in an unfamiliar space. But then the actual, like, environment of the room started to change, if that makes sense, like, temperature-wise. The house that I'm in is always very, very hot. The person who owns the house keeps the temperature at like 78 to 82 degrees at all times. And my room is the hottest, especially with the door closed. So when I'm sleeping at night, it's very hot and the room gets very stuffy and the air gets very thick. Well, it was like that when I was trying to sleep. And I noticed that after this, like, I felt like the air was thinning out and getting like easier to breathe and it wasn't as stuffy. And that slowly, as I was registering this, the temperature in the room was slowly becoming like cooler and more comfortable. It wasn't cold, but it wasn't 82 anymore. And I was like fully convinced I wasn't in this room. Like, I was fully convinced. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. The lights from the left and all the shaking. And I just, and the temperature, like, it all felt really weird and specific. And I felt like if I had just had some sort of, like, I don't want to say final push, because I know a lot of people don't like the term or concept of final push, but I felt like I personally needed to be shoved in. Like, I still had 1 foot here and 1 foot there. Like, I wasn't completely in one or the other. And I feel like I could have found a way to push in, except for the fact that on the Musi app, if you put like a song or a video on, it's going to repeat itself unless it's on a playlist. And then I set a timer so that it would just go off when the video was done, because the video is only half an hour long. And I think I may have accidentally set it for like a couple of minutes past that, because when the meditation was done, instead of it just going to silence, which I wanted to do because it's going to be silent in my room when I'm in my DR. The thing started playing over again, and I could hear Alanir talking again, and it frightened me so much that it like jolted me out, and I became fully aware of my body, and suddenly the whole room felt hot and the whole room felt familiar, and I just like sat up and I took my mask off and I was here, but I felt very out of it, and I was freaking out. I felt very disoriented, but I know that I was not asleep. I swear on my life I was not fucking asleep. I was not dreaming. I know I was completely awake. So, does that count as a mini shift? Did I mini shift? I don't know. In your all's opinions, was that just a shift with a lot of symptoms that wasn't successful, or did I mini shift? I think in the shifting community, we need to normalize having like an escape plan for our scripts. I have already made it clear to my sister, if I die, I've told her exactly where my paper scripts are, because I have 2 of them that are not on Notion. I told her where to find them. I said, you get that shit, you burn it. Don't even fucking read it. Love me enough not to read it and set that shit on fire before anybody can find it. Her thumbprint is on my phone. You find the Notion app, you fucking delete it. You delete the account if you can get in and do that. Those details don't need to see the fucking light of day. No one needs to see any of our scripts, because I know we all put embarrassing shit in there. Normalize having someone that's gonna get your shit and destroy it before anyone else can find it. I'm not gonna have that shit on my ghost. Not me.
I need to know now. And then I found me a lover who could play the bass. He's kinda quiet, but his body ain't. Spent the days dreaming and the nights awake, doing things we know we shouldn't do.
I'm technically supposed to be sleeping as I record this. It's very late, but I didn't want to lose the comments in my notification section and not be able to get to it. As I see the little comment up here, for some reason it's only showing the first 2 words of this comment. I don't know if it's going to look like that in post, but the person in this comment asked, what is shifting? So I figured I would go ahead and explain. Shifting, which is short for reality shifting, is the concept of becoming aware of yourself in another reality. I'm not going to get super complicated about it and explain the different theories of consciousness versus multiverse, and I'm just going to keep it as basic as possible because it can get super confusing even for me to try to explain it. But essentially it is based on the idea that this is not our only self, that this is not our only place of being. Some people consider it a scientific opinion and others consider it a spiritual opinion. It all really depends on the person. But shifting is when you are able to get yourself into a meditative state or kind of like a void state and detach from this reality in order to become aware of your life and your body in another place. It's got deep roots in certain spiritual practices that go back hundreds of years, I'm quite sure. But the term shifting and like the shifting community on TikTok became pretty popularized by fandoms like Harry Potter and Marvel and Stranger Things, wherein people are shifting to places like their favorite fandoms because the idea of shifting means that all of these places exist. Kind of like if you've ever seen any of the Marvel movies and they have the multiverse storyline where each slight change is another possibility in another reality, even if it's just like the smallest thing, like turning left versus turning right. And that all of these places exist. Places where your hair is a different color, or you wore a different shirt today, or ones that are more complicated, like magic being real, and you being an alien. Like, stuff that is so not real here is real in other places. So the concept of shifting is that you could become aware of a version of yourself that lives in a reality where those things exist, where you could go to Hogwarts, you could hang out with the people from Stranger Things, you could save the world with the Avengers. All kinds of possibilities, all kinds of places. It's a completely limitless and personal experience. But not all people use it for fandom purposes or to see comfort people that they have seen through a screen or on a page. A lot of people use shifting as a way of having idyllic childhoods, or going to therapy, or being able to heal personal trauma or travel. Everyone's shifting journey is incredibly personal. But a lot of the time when you see it on TikTok, it is people who are talking about going to realities based on things that are here, fandoms and TV shows and stuff like that. It's kind of complicated to explain, and it's even more complicated to really sometimes believe, I think, sometimes. When I first found out about shifting, it was 3 years ago, and I found out about it around my birthday, and I spent a whole weekend with my sister making fun of it and just talking mad shit on it and saying that there was no way that it was real. And then I fell into it, and I did a lot of research on it, and I talked to a lot of people, and I watched a lot of videos and read a lot of stuff, and then I believed in it, and now my whole platform is based on it. And I've had very real experiences with it, and I've known other people that have had very real experiences with it. And there are people who live very real lives in multiple other places, who have adventures and family and friends in other places, but also live their life here. So it's a very convoluted thing to try to explain, and a very complicated thing to try to explain, and it's a bit all over the place. Honestly, I would suggest doing more research into it on TikTok or Amino or Reddit. I would also suggest maybe shifting Twitter, or shifting Tumblr is actually pretty good. If you want to look into it, I suggest that. I can actually tag, there's an account who does a lot of really good informational videos that I'll put down in the description down here. Carly's really good about that stuff, and I feel like she's better at answering questions and explaining things than I am. But I'm hoping this helped even a little bit. This is so sick and fucking twisted! Sick and twisted!
How bad can I be? How bad could I possibly be? Let's see. All the customers are playing.
Oh my god, I almost died! No! I almost died! It was so scary, thank you!
It's okay, it's alright. This gun isn't very heavy.
Something just happened.
And what are you now?
I'm still me, I think. But that's not what everyone else sees.
You would appear as a friend.
Thanks.
Is this love?
I'm sitting in mostly the dark. I'm waiting on my food. But whilst waiting for my shit, I took a seat and started thinking about shifting. And all I can think about is, like, does anybody else, like, they have, like, a main DR of, like, a certain thing, like, their Harry Potter DR or their Marvel DR or whatever. But, like, sometimes you just, like, want to skip past the storyline stuff. So you're like, maybe I could have like an offshoot DR that's more like a waiting room where it's just me and whoever this person you want it to be hanging out in a room doing fuck all. Like literally just like sitting and cuddling and watching TV with your comfort character that has nothing to do with your main DR. Or is that just me?
I totally get that. I totally get that 100%. The thing is, I don't care. I really don't. I don't care at all. That's the problem. That's where this kind of falls apart. I don't care.
Over and over, I keep going over the world we knew once when
I was protecting Elena. I will always protect Elena. I'm on my way to murder Elena.
After all you put me through, you expect me to help you just like that? Just like that? Ugh. Fine.
Fine? You're doing what he says.
He's very persuasive.
It's no joke. I'm in love with her.
All right, fine. You're in love with her. Have you ever actually met her?
Oh. Can you introduce me?
How can you miss someone you've never met? 'Cause I need you now, but I don't know you yet.
So I've been going around and around and around with myself about if I want a fame DR. And if I do, I know exactly who my partner is. But unlike with like fictional characters, I can never come on here and say a fucking word about them. 'Cause with my luck, they'll fucking see it. So I just want all of you to know. I can't tell you who it is, but I just saw an adorable ass picture of my fame DR partner.
Motherfucker, I told 3 people about this, and you're the one who was taking notes, so I know it came from you. Like, fess up?
You should be addicted to shutting the fuck up.
You want to kiss me so bad it makes you look stupid.
And so what if I do?
Okay, don't mind how I look right now and how crazy my hair is. I just got out of the shower like 2 seconds ago. So I wanted to go ahead and answer this in a video because I thought it would be easier. This is going to sound cliche because a lot of other creators have said it. But I'm going to say it because I mean it wholeheartedly, and it did just happen to me. Take a break. Take an extended ass break. I feel like when a lot of people hear creators say to take a shifting break, they take a break for like 3 days to a week and then come back. No. Take like a month or 2 or even longer. Take a whole season if you need to. Because I feel like we as a community get so attached to shifting. And for good reason. But we get so attached and we get so emotional about it. And it gets so painful when it doesn't happen that it becomes an obsession. It consumes us. We're trying multiple times a day, every night. It's messing with our sleep schedule. It's making us sad. It's all we're thinking about at night. And sometimes you need to get away from that. You need to kind of get back into the mental state that you were in when you first started shifting. And it felt magical and fantastical, when it felt beautiful and inspiring and full of possibility and adventure. And honestly, the best way that I have found to do that is to take a very long break. I was in the same state you were in, where I was just like, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to shift. It's never going to happen for me. I've been trying for 2.5 years, blah, blah, blah. And I was at a point where I was just like about to give up, even though like my TikTok and my YouTube are based around shifting. All of my friends on here shift. Like it very much became so much a part of me. It was too much of me. Does that make sense? And then I decided to go on an extended shifting break with one of my friends. And it ended up, originally it was planned for about 4 weeks. We ended up going for 7. And it was really hard at first. There's a playlist on my channel if you want to watch the first like 3 or 4 weeks. I can't remember how long I made it. I think I made it 3 or 4 weeks of filming. But there's a playlist on my account that's all about like shifting break stuff. In each of the videos, I show you my day on such and such a day of a shifting break. I tell you advice or tips that I have about a shifting break, what I do to try to help myself to actually commit to not shifting, and the struggles that I went through with trying not to fall into old habits and shifting during naps or every time I went to sleep. Eventually, after a month, I decided I was still focusing too much on shifting by making the shifting break videos, so that's why all 7 weeks are not in the playlist. But I do feel that the break did help me a lot. It was after the break that I finally started to feel hopeful again. Shifting had become very monotonous and sad at that point, and I was really close to giving up. But after taking a break, and I spent 7 weeks really focusing on me, I spent time focusing on hanging out with my friends, on going to the gym, on trying to fix my sleep schedule, on trying to feel more confident about myself, reading more books, spending more time at the library, finding a therapist for other issues. Like, I really spent time focusing on myself because I realized I was neglecting my life in my CR because I wanted so badly to get to my DR. And I don't think I personally was in a place where I could shift if I wasn't focusing on me, because my CR I'm always going to have to come back to, and I deserve to be happy in every reality, not just the one I'm trying to shift to. So if you've hit this point where you feel like you're just never going to shift, take a break. Take a very real long break. If you need to take it for longer than I did, do it. If you only want to take it for a month, do it. But take a break. Focus on yourself. Focus on self-care, self-love, hang out with your friends, go out with your family, find some new hobbies. Really just like spend time with yourself and with your CR life. Shifting isn't going anywhere. Your DR isn't going anywhere. Your DR loved ones aren't going anywhere. And once you have the ability to shift, you can shift for your entire life. You don't have to worry about it ever leaving you. You're not going to lose your progress if you take a break for your mental and physical health. After I took my break and I focused on myself, I then tried a couple of new shifting methods. Something that I will also suggest motivation-wise is to keep it fun. Don't just use the same method every single time or the same couple of methods on a routine. Try different methods. Ever since I came back from my shifting break, I have tried the flow method, the void state method, the cinema method, and I tried the interstellar method last night, but I fell asleep. The void state method is what I was using when I mini shifted. If you want to find more small means of motivation by way of like helping to inspire you like right before a shift or when you're not on a shifting break, watch the forms of media for the thing that you are shifting to, or read the thing that you're shifting to, whatever. If you're shifting to a fictional universe, consume that form of media. Also consume adjacent versions of it, like from fan fictions and stuff. Watch video edits of it, create Pinterest boards, create Spotify playlists. All that stuff that they talk about on TikTok if you're not already doing that. I also think that it helps me personally to create Pinterest boards, not just for like the inspiration of the place, but it also helps to create a Pinterest board of like what my bedroom looks like or what my wardrobe looks like, because it helps it stick more to me. But honestly, I think the number one thing to help with motivation is you need to fall back in love with shifting. And sometimes to fall back in love with shifting, you have to let go of it for a little while. Your life here is just as important as your life there. So you need to spend time calming down your brain. You need to spend time focusing on yourself. And eventually, when you're healthier, when you're more relaxed, when you feel more peaceful in a few weeks or a few months, then shifting will start to look really magical and inspirational to you again. And that is when you will feel motivated. If you've hit burnout, stop pushing yourself. You will continue to burn, and then you will quit forever, and you will hate shifting, and you will look back on it negatively. If you have hit this point of burnout, you need a very long break.